Hi everyone, in this video we are going to style the hero section. So this is where we left it off. Now let's jump into CSS so we can see how we can make it look better. Now the hero section, first off, right off the bat, I'm going to get rid of the height that we have provided, and I'm going to change the background color to quaternary ML, and the grid column, that is the position for the grid column, is okay. First, let's go ahead and let's provide some padding. So we have vertical padding for top and bottom, and then we have horizontal padding for left and right. So for the top and bottom, I'm going to say padding. That is going to be XLV for vertical, and then for horizontal, I'm not going to go XL, but I'm just going to go LH. There we go. Let's say display flex. All the items are sitting next to each other, so we are going to say flex direction. Now keep in mind, when I say display flex, this is applied on the hero section. So for the hero section actually contains this content and then also these brands. So the hero section is this content along with these brands. We have not actually started styling the content yet. So we're just styling the main container for these. You always have to keep in mind the arrangement of containers that you have created. The gap, I'm going to set it to 4 rem. And now I'm going to set the border radius. So I'm going to say border bottom radius, border bottom, and then I'm going to say left radius. So we are going to have a border bottom left radius, and then we are going to have a border bottom right radius. All right, so let's jump into border bottom left radius and border bottom right radius. Now, border bottom left is the bottom left corner, border bottom right is the bottom right corner. Now, each of these corners, if we take a look at our website, and if I just go ahead and zoom out, so this part that you can see right here, this is the border bottom, this is the bottom, and then we have the right side, which both of these lines, like the right hand line, which is vertical, and this horizontal line, both of them combined, they create the border bottom right, and this one, it creates the border bottom left. So what we could do with CSS is provide a different curve for the border bottom right, and then the right side of it, and then the bottom side of it. What I mean by that is that there is a lot of customization going on here. So I'm going to zoom back into 100%. So when I say border bottom right radius, I'm talking about the right, the right hand side border on the bottom. And this, it has two lines. So when two lines, they're connected, they form that border bottom right. And we can provide different radii for each of these lines. So this line, the vertical line, which is the right one, this is going to have a different curve, and the bottom one is going to have a different one. The same thing goes for the border bottom left. So border bottom left is on the left edge of the section, and it has two joining lines. So the first line is going to be the bottom and the other one is going to be the left. We can have different curvatures for each of those lines. Now, when I say border bottom left radius, and if I provide only one value, let's say 10 pixels, so let's just comment this one out. Now, what this actually means is that I have provided, I've provided that value for both of the lines, the vertical and the horizontal lines, when there is only one value. So border bottom left radius, let's increase it to, I don't know, like 20 pixels. Should be able to see that. Let's save this. Let's come into our website. Why can't I see the border? Border bottom left radius, border bottom right radius. Okay, let's change this from ML to MD. Border bottom left radius, everything is okay. It has to work. Let me just go ahead and open it up with live server one more time. So now here is the border that you can see right there. So this is like 20 pixels of border, and we could increase that as well, like let's say 200, so you can really see what is happening here. Now you can see this curve, it has two lines. One line is coming from the top, and then the other one is coming from the bottom. So these two lines, both of them have the same curvature, but we can change that curve as well. So we are going to have a different curve for the top one, how it curves towards the bottom, and then we are going to have a different curve for the bottom, how it curves towards the top. So that's how a customized CSS can get. So for the when I provide two values like 100% and 40%, now these values, they're experimental. I've experimented a lot with these values, and I think these are the values that look cool. So what I suggest you do is go ahead, work with these, decrease it from 100 to 80, and this one like maybe increase it to 50, 100, and then you will see what is actually happening. So these two values, how do you know which one belongs to which of those lines, their curvature, is just take a look at the, this is the trick, take a look at the arrangement. So we have bottom, which is the first word, and then we have left, which is the second word. So 100% is the bottom line, which is curving towards the top, and the second number is the left line, which is curving from the top towards the bottom. So 100% and 40%. Let's provide the other one as well. They are 100% and 40% as well. So how do you know what these values refer to? The first one refers to the bottom line that curves towards the right top of the screen. And the second value is the right vertical line that curves towards the bottom of the screen. So let's save these. Let's take a look at them in the window. This is the effect that we're going to end up with. So I'm just going to go into responsive. We need to just modify this a little bit so it looks a little bit better. We need to modify the padding. We are going to do that. But first, let's jump into CSS and let's complete this section before overthinking a lot. So that part is done. Let's grab the hero content. The hero content, we know what that is. And that is the content plus the hero image. For that, I'm going to say display grid, grid template columns. I'm going to say repeat two. Each one of them is going to be 1 FR. And the gap is going to be 2 rem. And then let's just save this. And I'm also going to say place items center. So the items that are going to be in the center. There we go. Let's save that. Let's take a look at it here. So this is what we have done here. I'm going to change the background color as well. Let's style the hero content main. Now first I'm going to grab the image. I'm going to style the image. I'm going to provide it with that animation. And then we are going to jump into the extra info. So first let me remedy this one. So this is L. Jumping into the image. This is hero content. Hero content dash img. I think that was the class. Was that the class? img, yes. So what do I want to do with this? So I'm going to provide an animation for it. And I'm going to say it is going to be hero dash image. This is the animation name. The duration is going to be 4 seconds. The timing function is going to be ease and out, but the iteration count is not going to be like 1, 2, 3. So like the animation is going to happen 3 times. No, the iteration count is going to be infinite. So it's going to be an infinite cycle of animation. And then let's grab our keyframes with which we can create the animation. So it is going to ask for the identifier. The identifier is the name of the animation. And then what do we want to do? So at 0%, I want it, it's basically transform. So I want it to start to be exactly where it is. So translate Y0, it's exactly where it is. On 50%, let's say transform, translate Y. Now it is moving in the vertical direction. That's why we're just talking about the Y. And that movement is 20 pixels. And then when it goes to 100%, we want it to retain its original place again. So let's save that. Let's jump into code. Let's jump into window. So it is gonna start from 0, go up by 2 rem, and then it is gonna come back 0, and then it's gonna start from 0 again. So this is our animation. This is how we have created that. Now let's change the size of the image. So I'm gonna say hero content image. Let's say that this grabs the width is going to be 100% of its parent or its container. So far we are done with the image. And let's dive into the main info. So this is where all the magic is going to happen. So first, let's say hero content -- main - info. So for this one, we are going to say flex basis. I'm going to say flex basis is going to be 50%. The flex basis for this one is going to be 50%. And then I'm going to say display flex. So we need to align the items, the title, the main para, and the form. We need to align those as well. So display flex, flex direction, they're aligned vertically. So I'm going to say flex direction column. The gap is going to be 2 rem. So that's it for those styles. We are going to grab and we are going to style the main title and main para. And then we are going to jump and take a look at them. So main title is going to have a font size of DL, which is dynamic large. And then the font family is going to be var, the font family main. Let's grab main para, and I'm going to say font size. Font size for this one is going to be var font size static medium. This is the font size. And then font weight is going to be bold. So this is the para. We should not forget that span that we had in our title. So this is going to be main - title span. And I'm going to basically change the color. So var color secondary. So this is the span. We have also styled the paragraph, which is the main paragraph as well. So this is what we have ended up with. So these two are styled. The only thing remaining here within the content, of course, is basically this form. And then after that, we are going to style these brands, which is really easy. So let's jump into the form. So the form class, what was the class for the form? I remember it was a very large one. Let's put that there. So I'm going to say display flex for this one. Align items center. So originally I want the items to be aligned horizontally. But then as the width of the screen is going to get smaller, we want the items to go one by one to the next line. So for that option, we are going to activate the wrap behavior, and the gap is going to be 3 rem. That's why we want the gap, because we don't want to provide media queries when the width of the screen is getting smaller. We just want the items to go to the next line automatically. Now we are going to grab the field set itself. Now the field set, it has a border, which we are going to get rid of that as well. So you don't need to really worry about it. So first off, I'm going to say border none. And then I'm going to give the field set some padding of 1 rem and 3 rem. The background color for the field set is going to be color primary. That's it. So the field set contains 2 items, which are going to become flex items, and their alignment vertically is going to be center, and the gap between these 2 items is going to be 1.5 rem. Let's save that. Let's take a look at our website. So this is what we have done so far. So this background that you can see, which is lighter shade of this blue, I think this is blue cyan, something like that. That is the field set, but the input and the icon, they're still small, so we need to style those as well. So let's grab the input of the field field set. So I'm going to say copy that, put it right here. So we have two inputs within these field sets, and then we are going to have one input which is not within the field set. I'm talking about the submit button, which is within the form itself. So for all three of them, I'm going to say border none, outline none, and background none. We are going to add our own backgrounds. There we go. First off, let's grab the icon. So within the registration, I'm going to say we are going to have a field set, and then we are going to have an icon. Let's increase the font size to 2 rem so it looks a little bit better. Now, within the field set, we also have inputs which we need to style, but I'm going to select them in a different way. So we have this hero registration, main info underscore underscore registration, and then we have an input that has a type of the first one is email, and the second one is going to be password. So we are going to style both of them in the same way. Similarly, the font size for both of them is going to be 1.5 rem. Now, the submit one, it is going to have a different styling. So I'm just going to select that. I'm going to paste it right here. And I'm going to say, okay, this is submit. There we go. So for this one, the font size is going to be 1.5 rem. But the padding is going to be 1 rem for top and bottom, 2 rem for left and right. Background color is going to be var color primary. And after that, we are going to provide it with some border radii, which is 0.5 rem. And then, I mean, should I provide, have you provided a border background color? I mean, I'm going to provide a border radius for the field set as well. So that is 0.5 rem. So the border radius for all of the elements, everywhere where we use border radius, except for the curvaceous nature of the sections that we have, we're going to use 0.5 rem, which is like 5 pixels. And okay, what else? This is going to be, there's going to be only one more, and that is cursor. Let's change it to pointer. Cursor, when we click on it or hover on it, it has to change to pointer. Now, this is done. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's see what we've done so far. So all of these are, except for the background color, which for some reason has not been applied. We need to fix that as well. And then we are going to jump into hero brands. So this is color primary. No. I want the color to be secondary. Let's grab the hero brands. So hero underscore underscore brands. They're going to be display grid. Grid template columns. So we want to have repeat auto fit. So I don't want to really worry about those brands. I just want them to be responsive. So I'm just going to use min-max function. So the minimum size is going to be 15 rem, and the maximum size is going to be 1 fr. Place items center. We are going to center them vertically and horizontally. The gap is going to be 2 rem. Okay, and let's jump into the images. So hero brands, image. The height for the image is going to be calc 2 rem plus 2 vh. The width for the image is going to be calc. Okay, calc. This is going to be 10 rem plus 5 vw. And then we are going to say object fit cover. Let's save that. So we are done with the desktop version of our navigation. So we are done with that. Now the only thing else, these are, for some reason, they should be object fit. Now when we say object fit cover, this is actually a good thing. What it actually does is it is going to grab and stretch that image to grab the entire height and width of its container. But it is not going to take into consideration that some of the image may get lost. We have talked about cover and contain. But if you use contain is actually going to say, I'm going to show the image, keep the aspect ratio, and I don't care if I cannot cover the entire parent's height and width. So that's why we are going to use, instead of cover, we are going to use contain. There we go. So we have Instagram, Bootstrap, and we have Dribble. There we go. So we are done with this section. Let's go ahead and decrease the width of the screen so we can see how we can make this responsive. So let's just go ahead and let's make, now you can see that when I started decreasing the, now this one, it has to change the, let's change the color for the text. Where is that input with the type of submit? What do we want to set it to? It is going to be color primary. So color var color primary. Let's save that. Let's jump back into code. So let's bring this and make it smaller and smaller. So you can see that this password and the register, both of them, they actually jumped to the next line. And it created another line. So we don't want to worry about that. So let's just make it smaller. So far, everything looks cool up until 817. And now, boom, it just went to the next line. That is this image, and this is the reason that we have provided that with that wrap. So we just wanted to wrap. No, this is actually a grid container. The wrap is for these form icons, form inputs. What am I saying? Form inputs. And this is just the what we have provided for the content. Let me just take a look at it. So where is the content? Grid, yeah, there we go. So we have said repeat to 1FR. We didn't say to go to the next line. Why is it going to the next line? It should not go to the next line. Repeat to 1FR. When there isn't enough space, it just bounces and it goes to the next line. Well, it should not actually do that because we have not told it to do that. So let me take a look. Okay, I'm really sorry. This is the finished website. That is why it is jumping. What am I even doing here? So this is the website that we are working with, and we are going to decrease the width of the screen in this one. So far everything looks cool. Now this image is starting to look really, really small. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to look for a breakpoint. So this is big. I could work with that. But this is like small. So I'm going to provide a breakpoint around 800 pixels. In this manner, this is at the last width, the exclusive agency, this main info part. And the image, I don't want it to actually go ahead and get smaller. So if I jump into code, let's go ahead and let's create a media query. So this is 720. Let me collapse this one. On top of that, I'm going to say at media screen and max width. So at the maximum width of 800 pixels or lower than that, that's when I want these styles to be applied. So what do I want to apply at that? So first off, what I want to apply is I want to grab that content main info and I want to stretch it from being 2 columns, 1 row to 1 column, 2 rows. So I want to do that first within the 800. Now, I'm going to grab part of this comment. I'm going to grab all of it and I'm going to modify it. So we don't need this part. Let's just get rid of that. I'm going to say hero. So first, let's grab the hero. Let me show you what I'm actually trying to do here. So in here, what I'm actually trying to do is when we decrease the width of the window, at some point this border radius that we provided is going to look lumpy, and I don't like that. So it's going to look like something like this. I mean, some of you might like this, but I don't like how this is like lumpy. It's like something that is like hanging. I don't like, it may look funny, but I don't really like that it looks like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change these border radius values just a little bit, so it looks a little bit better. So let's go below 800. So first things first, for the hero section, we are going to say border bottom left radius. So for this one, I'm going to change that from 100 to 40 and from 40 to 10. And we are going to have the same ones for the right as well. So we have left and right. So now that is done, let's grab the hero content. What do we want to do for the hero content? We want the hero content to have only one column and 2 rows. We don't really specify the rows, so I'm just going to say 1FR. That's it. That's everything that we're going to do for the hero section within the 800 media query. There is one more thing that we need to do for this section, but that is something that I need to show you first. So now you can see this looks a little bit better than that. And it goes to the next line, the image. Boom, there we go. Let's go ahead and make it smaller, smaller. And these images, they're going to move to the next line as well, like this. And so around 383, we don't see any scroll bars, horizontal scroll bars. Now, sometimes if you don't really want to have scroll bars like content overflowing to the right of the screen, you could say overflow X hidden, but I don't want to use that property because that property just makes me lazy and it makes me not think, okay, what is the actual issue? What content is overflowing? So I need to prevent that from overflowing as opposed to like hiding overflow, hiding that flaw within my website. No, I don't want to do that. You could do that, and then that overflow, if there is a scroll bar, that overflow is going to go away. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I just want to decrease the padding. I guess when you're at this small screen, at a screen like this small, it is not that good to have so much padding on top, on bottom, on left and right. I'm just going to decrease the padding. And the breakpoint for that is going to be, let's just take a look at that so we can find out what the breakpoint is going to be. So this is where we have applied our 800 media query, and this is going smaller, smaller. So now around here, around this register button, when it is jumping to the next line, around here, I'm going to decrease the padding. So it's around 470 something, 469. So I'm going to grab 470, and then I'm going to provide a media query there. This one is going to be at media, screen, and max dash width, 470. Now this is something that we're going to use universally for all of the sections. So this hero section is not going to be the only section that is going to have its padding reduced. We are going to do that for work, features, for all of the upcoming sections, even for the sign-in page that we are going to create at the end of this tutorial series. What do we want to do? So we want to decrease the vertical padding from XLV to LV. There we go. And the horizontal padding is going to be decreased from LH to SH. Let's save that. Let's take a look at it. So this is 471, and when I just go smaller, you can see that the padding just got reduced. So the padding is smaller. So now around 410, this button jumps into the next line. And this is how our website is going to look like on smaller screens. 313, very cool. But if you go really small, then you're going to see the scroll bar, which is not ideal, but I don't want to style websites for screens less than 300. I don't want to do that. They're really, 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 really small. So, I could change the position of this, but I'm not going to do it. That is just extra hustle. We don't need that. So with this, our lecture comes to an end. We just coded the hero section, and we also made it responsive because we are we are creating websites with the responsive first approach, I think, or responsive priority approach. So we are first making every section responsive, and then the section responsive, and then we are going to jump into our next section. So we don't have to worry about the previous sections. Now, in the next section, in the next video, we are going to talk about the work section. So see you then.